Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning. Dr. Dieter coming to you from Fort Worth, Texas. Today we're going to be talking about 2 ways to reverse cholesterol. Catherine, welcome. Darlene Hines, welcome. If you don't mind dropping a comment in the chat where you're joining from. Novelt, welcome. Azul, welcome. Topic of today's conversation, we're going to be talking about 2 ways to reverse cholesterol. Please drop a comment in the chat if you don't mind letting me know. Okay. Catherine Sinclair, welcome. Letting me know where you're joining. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Peter, welcome. David, welcome. Scorpio, welcome. My name is Dr. Dieter. I'm a double board certified physician, board certified as an internist, board certified as a pediatrician. I do these lives every day talking about health issues that affect us in modern day society. Today we're going to be talking about 2 ways to reverse your cholesterol so that you can reclaim your health. 2 ways to reverse your cholesterol so that we can reclaim your health. So Terry, welcome. I want to welcome you if you're joining us from any of the regions in the United States. Maybe you're joining us from the Northeast. If you're joining us from the Northeast and you hear your state, give me a shout out. Maybe you're joining from Connecticut, from Maine, from Massachusetts, from New Hampshire, from Rhode Island, from New Jersey, from New York, Pennsylvania. If you're joining us from any of these states, welcome. Our topic of today's conversation will be cholesterol. We're going to talk about 2 ways to reverse cholesterol. If you're joining from the Midwest, maybe you're joining us from Illinois, maybe you're joining us from Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, or maybe Wisconsin, or maybe Iowa, or maybe Minnesota, or Nebraska, or the Dakotas, North Dakota, South Dakota. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Dr. Dieter. I'm a board certified internist and a board certified pediatrician, double board certified. Today I'm going to be talking to us about 2 simple ways. Trinidad in the house. Susan Alexander, welcome. Glad to have you on my live today. We're going to talk about 2 ways to reverse cholesterol. I'm going to teach about a lifestyle approach, things you can do, some lifestyle changes that we can do to reverse cholesterol. And the other thing we're going to talk about is a nutraceutical approach that you can do to reverse cholesterol. To my people in the South, maybe you're joining from Delaware, from Florida, from Georgia, from Maryland, from the Carolinas, North Carolina, South Carolina. I trained in North Carolina, did my residency in North Carolina, worked as a hospitalist in North Carolina for 11 years before moving to Texas. So North Carolina is dear to my heart. If you worked as a hospitalist in North Carolina for 11 years before moving to Texas, so North Carolina is dear to my heart. If you're joining, maybe you're in Virginia, maybe you're in Alabama, maybe you're in Kentucky, maybe you're in Mississippi, maybe you're in Tennessee, maybe you're in Arkansas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, or Texas, the Lone Star State, which happens to now be my new home for the last 4 years. I want to welcome you. We're going to be talking about 2 ways to reverse cholesterol. And finally, to my people in the West Coast, maybe you're joining us from Washington State, Oregon, Hawaii, Alaska, California, Wyoming, Utah, New Mexico, Nevada, Montana, Colorado, Idaho, Arizona. Welcome. Topic of today's conversation, 2 ways to reverse cholesterol. My name is Dr. Dieter. I'm a double board certified physician, board certified as an internist, board certified as a pediatrician. I hold these live talks as often as I can, mostly every day, to try to inform people about health issues they can do to begin taking control of their health and to reclaim their health. Now, I know we have an international audience. Somebody from Trinidad just gave a shout out. So I want to recognize if you're joining us outside the United States. Maybe you're joining us from Canada, from Colombia, from Dominican Republic, from Mexico, from Puerto Rico, which is in the United States. You're welcome. Maybe you're in Europe. Maybe you're joining us from Slovenia, Slovakia, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, Turkey, United Kingdom, Malta, Netherlands, Norway, Portugal, Poland, Finland, France, Germany, Belgium, Austria, Bulgaria, Croatia, Cyprus, Czech Republic. Any of those places in the European continent, I want to welcome you. The health issues that we deal with in America are similar health issues we deal with the world over because of modernization. So the issue of high cholesterol is not an American issue only. It's an issue worldwide. So I welcome you. Maybe you're joining us from the Asian Pacific. You're joining us from maybe Australia, Hong Kong, China, Japan, Malaysia, New Zealand, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, Taiwan. Welcome to our show. And finally, if you're anywhere in the Middle East, maybe you're in Egypt, maybe you're in Jordan, maybe Kuwait, Morocco, Oman, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, United Arab Emirates, welcome. I'm from West Africa, so if you're joining us from Cameroon, where I'm from, if you're joining us from Ghana, if you're joining us from Nigeria, if you're joining us from Congo, from South Africa, welcome, 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 welcome. I'll introduce myself again. My name is Dr. Dieter. I'm a double board certified physician, trained as an internist, trained as a pediatrician, and over the last 2 years, I have uncovered that the diseases that face us today in modern society are really related to our lifestyle and food choices. And I have made it my mission to teach and educate as many people, about lifestyle and simple things that we can do to have health and have health abundantly. So today we're going to be the topic of our conversation today is going to be cholesterol. We're going to be talking about 2 ways to reverse cholesterol. So I'm going to go back and forth from this screen to the other screen. We're just going to show that. So I will go back and forth from this screen where you will see me do some teaching on the board, and then we're going to flip over back and forth. So we're going to be talking about how to reverse cholesterol, and I'm going to address 2 ways of how to do that. 2 ways, okay, of how to reverse cholesterol. 2 ways. So I'm going to start by asking a question. 1 second. I'll flip back all over here. Okay. And I'm going to start by asking this simple question. How many of you guys have been told in the past by your doctor that your cholesterol is high? If you carry a diagnosis of high cholesterol, or your doctor has told you in the past, hey, Peggy, your cholesterol is high, we may need to put you on cholesterol medicines. How many of you guys have been told by your physicians in the past you have a high cholesterol? If that's you, drop a comment in the chat, high cholesterol, or just an abbreviation, HLD. I bring that question up because the issue of cholesterol, I am very white. Somebody says I am very white. One of the comments there is saying I am very white. I don't know what that means. Does that mean the lighting in my okay, I don't know what that comment means about I am very white. So if it's the lighting, let me know. I may fix that around, but other than that, I don't know what that means. If you want to expatiate, okay. So the reason I asked that question about cholesterol is because it's ubiquitous. It's a problem that we all of us face all over the world. And some people drop the comment on the chat right there. I'm going to read. Chasing Destiny says mine is 238. They want to put me on statin. Well, Chasing Destiny, today in our talk, I'm going to talk to you about two things that can help you get your cholesterol down. Oh, somebody says you act very white. I have no clue what that means. I'm a dick ticker saying I act very white. I have no clue what that means, okay? So if you want to expatiate on that, great. Just looking to see any other comments about cholesterol. So I don't know whether that comment, I act very white, if I have to take it as an insult or a compliment. I have no clue. Anyway, let's get back to it. It's okay. It's good for people to have difference of opinions here and what have you. So LDL is high. Okay, anybody else who's been told their cholesterol is high, if you want to drop a comment on the chat, feel free to drop a comment in the chat. I want to say this. High cholesterol is a very, my HDL is good, but my LDL is specifically 180, okay? ABM 1963 says the cholesterol is high. Okay, so I am not surprised by these numbers at all. I'm not surprised by these numbers because I'm going to do some statistics on the board. Okay, I'm going to show us some statistics. These are some statistics, and these statistics are here in the United States. I'm pulling statistics in the United States, but these statistics, I will guess they're very similar the world over, okay? These are the statistics in the United States. In the United States, they say 1 in every 5 adults in the United States has high cholesterol. 1 in every 5, okay? I'll write those statistics down. So one in every 5 people in the United States has high cholesterol. And high cholesterol is defined as a cholesterol level greater than or equals to 240. Okay? 1 in every 5, let's put. 1 in every 5 adults in the US have high cholesterol. All right. I give you guys some breaking news. I fell in that category of 1 in every 5. As a physician, I fell in that category. My cholesterol, and I'll show you guys my numbers later. My cholesterol was 261. That's bad. 261, that was me. 1 in every 5 people in the United States has a high cholesterol. If you know what your cholesterol is and it's greater than or equals to 240, you have high cholesterol. Drop a comment on the chat, high. You fall in that 1 in 5, or comment on the chat 1 in 5. So that's one of the statistics. The other statistics is that 1 in every 3 people, adults in the United States has what we call a borderline cholesterol. 1 in every 3. 1 in 3 adults in the United States has a borderline cholesterol. A borderline cholesterol is defined as a cholesterol level of 200 to 239. These are high numbers, guys. If you agree that 1 in every 5 and 1 in every 3 are some very high and concerning numbers, comment high or comment concerning in the chat. Those are huge numbers. The other statistics here is this, that 2 in every 5 2 in every 5 adults in the United States has a high LDL. A high LDL is considered any LDL greater than or equals to 100 is considered a high LDL. I also fell in that category of the 2 in 5. My LDL, let's see, I'll give you that number. My LDL was 207. As a physician, these are my numbers. So I checked this box for that category. I checked this box for that category. That's how ubiquitous, that's how common the issue of cholesterol is. So common the issue. And if you with this, since we're talking about cholesterol, it is worth mentioning that 40 million Americans are on cholesterol medication. The amount of people in the United States who are on cholesterol medicine, statins, about 40 million Americans. If you're on a statin, drop a comment in the chat, statin, if you're on any medicine to keep your cholesterol. Those are the statistics. And I want to say that these statistics, yes, they are statistics in the US, but we have a global problem with modernization and the way we eat. And so these cholesterol issues are not just cholesterol issues in the US. I will make an educated guess that the world over, that these numbers are pretty much similar in Europe, in Africa, in Asia, in the Asian Pacific, in the Middle East and what have you, because of modernization. I'm gonna flip over, make sure that you guys are still with me. Make sure that you guys are still with me and see if we're any comments or questions or what have you that I have to address. So those are the statistics of of cholesterol. Those are very, very concerning numbers in terms of what I have described. Very, very concerning numbers. Now, why is the issue of high cholesterol important? Why am I talking about that? The reason why I'm talking about that is it is a cornerstone to other diseases, causing other issues. And I'm going to go back to the board. When you have high cholesterol, it fuels other diseases, okay? High cholesterol increases your risk. These are the diseases that you can have as a result of high cholesterol. So high cholesterol causes heart disease, CAD. Increases your risk of CAD. You can have heart attacks. Why? Because when you have high cholesterol, it goes and clogs your artery and decreases the blood flow to the artery, forms plaque in the arteries. Those are when the plaque in the artery now ruptures and displaces, it blocks the artery, impairing blood flow to vital organs of the heart and cause you to have heart attacks, heart disease. That's what high cholesterol implication number one. The other thing that high cholesterol does, is increase your risk of stroke. Okay? In the same manner that high cholesterol causes you to have a heart disease, it goes and clogs up the arteries in your brain, decreasing the blood flow to your brain and increases your risk of stroke. So that's why these numbers matter, or the issue of high cholesterol matters. The other thing it does, there is something also called PAD. C just stands for coronary artery disease, and PAD stands for peripheral artery disease. You know, it's blockages of the blood vessels in your lower extremities, in your legs. So peripheral artery disease. High cholesterol is going to go and cause, just as it causes blockages in the heart, in the brain, it causes blockages in the lower extremity. It can cause people to develop amputations and all of that. The other thing is that high cholesterol causes kidney failure. It goes and blocks the arteries in the kidneys. When it blocks the arteries in the kidneys, it decreases the blood flow and oxygen to the kidneys. Our kidneys need constant perfusion or constant flow of oxygen getting to them. When the kidneys see less oxygen or blood and nutrients going to them, the kidneys get damaged. So kidney disease, the risk of kidney disease increases with high cholesterol. So that's why it's concerning, and that's why it's an issue. It causes kidney damage, can lead to things like dialysis and what have you. And so that's why the issue of high cholesterol is very concerning. It fuels these diseases: heart attack, stroke, peripheral artery disease, and kidney disease. So we need to, this is a topic that we need to address so that we can decrease our risk of these diseases. So we can decrease our risk of these diseases. Now, I'm going to teach us two ways of how we lower our cholesterol. But before I teach us those two ways, I want to explain to us when you understand what I'm going to teach, you're going to understand how that factors into these two ways of how to reverse our cholesterol. The question I'm going to ask, I'm going to flip over and ask the question. I want somebody to take a guess. What do you think is the number one cause of high cholesterol? If you think that the reason we have high cholesterol is because we eat too much fatty foods or eating animal fats, drop a comment in the chat, animal fat. If you think that we have high cholesterol because of something else and you have a clue of what that something else is, I want you to comment. I want to take some answers and see what people think is the cause of the numbers that I described: the 1 in 5, the 2 in 5, the 2 in 5, the 1 in 3. I would like to know what people think causes that. So let's flip over. So let me see some guesses. What do you guys think is the reason for these numbers? Why our cholesterol levels are up? Fried foods, somebody said fried foods, okay. Lifestyle and diet, okay, good. Obesity, yeah, connected, okay. What else? So all the things that you guys said are very. Smoking. Smoking doesn't cause your cholesterol to go up, but smoking adds fuel to the fire in causing heart disease. Processed foods, I love it. Seed oils, I love it. Familial hypercholesterolemia, that's true. A small component of that's true. Familial hypercholesterolemia. So you guys have given me some good guesses here. The seed oils, the processed foods, the fried foods. Those are all good things. Those are all good, and you're right on the money in terms of the guessing of what causes cholesterol. Diabetes doesn't cause high cholesterol. Kidney disease doesn't cause high cholesterol. In fact, kidney disease is the result of high cholesterol. Those things, well, risk, those things, something like kidney disease is caused by high cholesterol. And then, okay, you mean the risk. Okay, I get it. What causes high blood pressure? Many things. Unfortunately, that's not a discussion for this live today. I cover issues about high blood pressure, on different lives. So I want to concentrate on the cholesterol issue today. Now, you may not some of the comments that you guys made, about your cholesterol, what causes high cholesterol, are right there on the money. Right there on the money. And I will simplify it this way. Too. The two most common things, that sit at the top of why we have high cholesterol. Somebody said, you guys said it all in your guesses. I'm going to sum it up in two things. Okay? I'm going to sum it up in two things. And somebody put it very well. Lifestyle and diet. That is perfect. But I want to go, lifestyle and diet is a great way to sum those two things. But I want to go on the lifestyle and diet and extract and talk about two specific things in the lifestyle and diet that cause high cholesterol. So here we go. You're totally correct. Our lifestyle and diet. What is it about our lifestyle and diet that cause high cholesterol? Two things. We're consuming so much processed foods. Great. Here we go. He says you're a clinician. Great. Wonderful. Where are you a clinician at? Where are you a clinician at? Curious. So we are consuming too much processed foods. Too much. That's number one. When we consume processed foods, the United Kingdom, wonderful, I'm glad to have you on my live today, joining from United Kingdom. When we consume so much processed foods, that's the number one. Was one reason why our cholesterol is high. Processed foods. The second thing why our cholesterol is high has to do with something that we are not eating. By virtue of the fact that we are consuming so much processed foods, Guyana, welcome, we are not taking in enough fiber, okay? We're not taking in enough fiber, and fiber is very, very important in getting your cholesterol control. So two things in the lifestyle and diet here. We're consuming so much processed foods. And number two, we are not taking in enough fiber. I'm going to explain to us how those two things result in our cholesterol being very, very high. And I will say this, if I gave you a time machine and I said, go back in the past, 150 years back, and go look at how your great-great-grandfather was living when he was alive in that day and age, and come back and report to me whether people ran around with high cholesterol, whether people were on cholesterol medicine. When you take that time machine and go back to the past and come back and report to me, you're going to say, Dr. Dieter, nobody had high cholesterol. When I was asking for their numbers and when I even mentioned high cholesterol, they were like, what is that? Nobody had high cholesterol. And the two reasons why they didn't is because of their lifestyle at the time. They consumed foods that were whole foods, did not consume processed foods, and they consumed a lot of fiber. Now I'm going to go to the board and explain those two things and how consuming processed foods and consuming and not consuming fiber has caused the high cholesterol issue that we face all over the world. Somebody asked, as a diabetic, what's the best fiber food without spiking my sugar? Send me a direct message, please. For the purpose of this life, I want to concentrate on high cholesterol to make the best of time. I do have a document, about some processed foods, some foods that you can avoid. Send me a direct message or some good fiber foods. Or the easiest thing I'll just say is, as a diabetic, if you're looking for foods that's going to help not spike your fiber foods that's not going to spike your cholesterol, just go to Google, or you go to ChatGTP and just Google what are the foods rich in fiber in where I stay. It's going to give you a long list of those foods. You just incorporate them into your diet. So let's go to the board now. I mentioned that the reason why our cholesterol is high is because of two things. Number one, the first thing why our cholesterol is high, where's my brown marker? The first thing why our cholesterol is high is, number one, we're eating too much processed foods. Okay, I want to take that and expound on that. You see, when we consume processed foods, things like white bread, pasta, bagels, crackers, donuts, pastries, pancakes, waffle, boxed cereal, tortillas, pizzas, the snacks, things like that, stuff like this, snack. When we consume those processed foods are very high in calories. They contain more calories than our body needs. They are rich in carbohydrates. And what carbohydrates do is they spike your blood sugar. When you consume these foods, they have a high carb content. That high carb content comes with high calories. So the processed foods have a high carb content. High carb content. So when the high carb content of the processed foods, when you consume them, they cause the body, they have high calories. High carb content is equivalent to high calories. Now you see, our body has a certain quota of calories that it needs every day. So, for example, let's say I'm 164 pounds. As a 164-pound man, my body has a determined amount of calories that it needs to be able to run smoothly every day. So, let's say I'm 164 pounds. 164 pounds. And let's... 1 second. You guys give me 1 second. Hey kids, Daddy's doing a live. Please be quiet. Be quiet. Be quiet. All right. So let's say I weigh 164 pounds. Let's go to the UK guy. Can you give me a quick, I want to use that also in kilograms. My friend clinician joining from the UK. What's 164 pounds divided by 2.2 so that I get that number in kilograms? I want to also illustrate in pounds and kilograms as I talk about these calories. So 164 pounds divided by 2.2. What is that in kilograms, the equivalent in kilograms? Anybody can help me with that calculation? 164 divided by 2.2 to get kilograms. 74 kilograms. Thank you very much. So let's say as a 164-pound man, right? Which is 74 kilograms. Let's say the amount of calories that I, at 74 kilograms or 164 pounds, the amount of calories my body is supposed to run on the whole day, to meet all of its needs. Let's say that amount of calories, I'll just make up a number. Let's say that amount of calories is 4,000 calories. Let's say I need to take in 4,000 calories a day to be able to run for my body to function. When you consume processed foods, they're very high in calories. So because our foods today are so processed, you take in processed food like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, the combination of all that, instead of it being 4,000, for me, it is 8,000. Let's just double that. And let's put that in red. I've taken in instead, so this is my need. I need this. That's what I need. Nothing more. But throughout the whole day, what I have done, because I'm consuming foods that are processed, instead I have taken in a total of 8,000 calories. Okay? That's excess. All right, so I now have 4,000 calories that are in excess. 4,000 calories that are in excess. So the 4,000, I need only 4,000, but I've taken in 8,000. So in excess, I have 4,000. The body takes that excess 4,000 calories, and now there is a process in the liver called de novo lipogenesis, okay? Let me write that down. A process in the liver called de novo lipogenesis. De novo lipogenesis. De novo lipogenesis. This just simply means it's a process of make new fat. De novo lipogenesis means make new fat. The meaning of this. All right? Anytime you have an excess of calories, it triggers this process, the de novo lipogenesis. And cholesterol is a type of fat. Triglycerides, your LDL, cholesterol is a type of fat. So all of these excess calories now is now converted into fat. Some of the fat is cholesterol. Some of the fat gets stored in the adipose tissues, your bellies, and all of that. So that is how processed foods jack up our cholesterol. So with de novo lipogenesis, you produce new fat. This takes place in the liver. The excess calories, that remain behind triggers, the body has to do something with those excess calories. Those excess calories cannot just go poof in the air. The body in the liver now, that process is triggered called de novo lipogenesis. Make new fat. Let's take these excess calories and convert these excess calories into fat. And the fat here is cholesterol, and adipose tissue fat. And that's how you have high cholesterol. Number one reason why you have high cholesterol. One reason why you have high cholesterol. Processed foods. So, a lifestyle approach to be able to reverse your high cholesterol, understanding this, is simply avoiding these foods. Avoid those foods. They will jack your cholesterol. Our cholesterol is not up because of animal fats. Doctors used to think that, when you eat a lot of animal fat, it will rise your cholesterol. It's not true. It's not true. One of the main reasons why our cholesterol go up is consuming foods that are high in carbohydrates, processed and ultra processed foods. Those processed and ultra processed foods cause an excess of calories. The excess of calories triggers de novo lipogenesis, the process of make new fat in the liver. This happens in the liver. And two types of fat are made. One of it is cholesterol. One of it is another fat that is stored in our tissues and our cells. So a simple lifestyle way to reduce your cholesterol, if you do not want to get on a statin medication, if your doctor has told you that you have high cholesterol and is threatening to put you on the statin, remove all the processed foods from your diet. Eat foods that are 100% from a plant, 100% from an animal. Follow the great-grandparent rule. What's the great-grandparent rule? The great-grandparent rule is that if you're about to pick up something to eat, you're about to pick this up to eat, and you cannot answer the question, if my great-great-great-grandfather were alive today, or my great-great-great-grandmother were alive today, this stuff that I'm about to eat, will they recognize this as food in their days? If the answer to that is no, it's processed, it's high in carbs, it will jack your cholesterol up, drop it, don't eat it. Eat 100% plant foods, 100% animal foods, remove every other processed food from your diet. You did that. If you do that and you go back to your doctor 3 months from now who was threatening to put you on cholesterol medicine, or if you're already on cholesterol medicine and you're sick of what this is doing, are sick of taking it, and you decide to do that lifestyle change, when you go back at the next blood draw, if you commit to doing that and go back at the next blood draw, your doctor will be shocked to see how bad your cholesterol has plummeted, because you're going to take out de novo lipogenesis. You will take out de novo lipogenesis. So that's one of the reasons why we have high cholesterol. Too much processed foods. I'm going to flip over, make sure that you guys are with me, and see if everybody do we follow so far? Do we follow so far? That's reason number one why our cholesterol is high, and I have merged that with how you can then get your cholesterol down. Great. Brother Grail said yes. Walk all the time, so hard to avoid processed food. Need to learn how to avoid while walking hard. Well, I get it. I understand. You know, our lives, modernization with the way we live life today, has put so much on our plates. Number one, it makes it hard for us to eat healthy. And then number two, our foods, they are more unhealthy foods in our society today than they are healthy foods. So many of us don't have healthy options, So it's a combination of our life and work being so hectic, plus a combination of the fact that we do not have the healthy foods available to us. So I get it. So that's why I take two approaches all the time. I teach a lifestyle approach, which people can do, and I teach another approach called the nutraceutical approach. The nutraceutical approach is for people whose lifestyles are so hectic, they're not going to be able to do that. It's just a simple approach to taking a nutraceutical product that will help them achieve the same thing. So we're talking about the lifestyle approach right now, but I'm going to talk about the nutraceutical approach, which will give you an option to be able to do that. So I just want to scroll and see what other comments people must. What is that you have? Andrea asked me, what is it I have? So Andrea, what I'm drinking right here, you asked me what I have, is a nutraceutical product that I'll talk about, which is another option for getting your cholesterol down. I take it every day, like part of my food. And Is rice good for me? Nancy, rice is a high carbohydrate food. Normally, right, rice is supposed to have the fiber bran on it. But white rice, they've taken the bran out of it, the fiber from it. And so white rice is gonna jack up your cholesterol, you jack up your the amount of calories you take in. Those amount of calories you take in also that are in excess is gonna cause your cholesterol to go up. Anything that causes your has a high carbohydrate content, increases your risk of having high cholesterol. The kind of rice that is good for you are two types of rice. Number one, brown rice. Brown rice is good. It has a low glycemic index. You guys give me 1 second. It's getting a little bit steamy in this room. I'm doing the live. I need to turn on the AC. Just 1 second. I'll be back. All right. So going back to the question of rice. So number one, brown rice is what's good for you. It has a low glycemic index. The other kind of rice that will be good for you is leftover rice. Okay. If you love rice, if you're a lover of rice and you want to eat it, if you're able to cook it today and eat it the next day, it's going to be good for you. It's going to lower your glycemic index. It's not going to cause a glucose spike and the same amount of calories that you will get. And I'll explain it this way. Let me just make sure that there are no other comments that I need to answer. I'll explain it this way. Rice. Why rice? Rice is processed, even brown rice. Well, brown rice is healthier because brown rice has fiber. So let me explain to you how rice eaten the next day can help your cholesterol. Leftover rice. Let me explain that. It's a beautiful concept, very beautiful concept. So when we eat rice, when you cook rice, the day that you cook it, the starch in the rice, the heat, causes the rice to be soft and swollen. Okay, the cooking the rice, the heat causes the rice to be soft and swollen because it goes and breaks down the starch, making the rice to be soft and swollen. That's a process we call gelatinization. Okay, gelatinization. Gelatinization. Okay, it's the heating, the cooking process of the rice causes the starch in the rice to become soft and swollen. That soft and swollen, is called gelatinization. The starch gets soft and swollen. That softness and swollenness makes it very easy for your enzymes to break down the rice. Okay, so and that gelatinization is why that rice just tastes so palatable when you put it in your mouth. The soft and swollenness. But the palatability also, because of the gelatinization also causes your enzymes to be able to easily break down the rice because it's soft and swollen. So your enzymes can easily act on this rice and break it down and convert it into glucose. Okay. That causes a rise in your blood sugar. When your blood sugar rises, it causes insulin to be secreted. When insulin is secreted, it causes you to store calories. Right? Now, why is rice eating the next day good? If you have cooked this rice and it's soft and swollen, if you let it to cool down, right? When the rice cools down, becomes cold, This starch in the rice gets converted to another kind of starch called resistant starch. So that as the rice cools down, as it cools down, what happens is that it crystallizes. It crystallizes. So you had gelatinization, making it soft and swollen. When it cools down, it crystallizes. You know, it means that the starch now hardens. Okay, when it crystallizes, when it crystallizes, the starch in it hardens. When the starch hardens, it gets converted to another kind of starch through that crystallization process called resistant starch. Resistant starch. Okay? Resistant starch is hard to break down. You know, gelatinized stuff was soft and swollen. Your enzymes easily broke them down. Resistant starch pretty much acts like fiber. Okay? Resistant starch is pretty much equivalent to fiber. Your enzymes are not able to really break it down. And so it passes through your colon or your digestive tract, acting like fiber, intact, you know, and feeding your gut bacteria. And fiber doesn't raise your blood sugar. So you're getting less calories and still enjoying the same rice. So it acts like fiber. And so then the great thing is, the next day, right? If you pick up that rice and you have to reheat it, whether you're reheating it on a stove or in the microwave, that resistant starch stays in place. Once starch crystallizes and becomes resistant starch, even if you were to reheat it, it doesn't revert back to the soft and swollen inside. It remains resistant. And so you get the benefit of it still acting like fiber because the resistant starch stays in place. So what I've been doing now, after I learned about this, is I no longer, as much as possible in our house, we no longer eat rice cooked the same day, as much as possible. If we want to eat rice, we cook it the day before, we let it cool down, maybe freeze it. You don't need to freeze it. If you live in an area where you don't have a freezer, you live, you know, in Africa or what have you, you have a freezer, great. You don't have a freezer, maybe you're living somewhere remote that doesn't have a freezer. The rice just has to cool to room temperature. When it cools down, that crystallization occurs. So that what I do now is we cook rice the day before, let it cool down, put it in the freezer, you know, take it the next day, reheat it and eat it. It's acting now like fiber. It doesn't cause your glucose to spike and decreases your the calories that you're going to gain from that. So that was a little bit of a explanation on how rice does, but let's go back of why rice is good when you reheat it. But let's go back to the second thing we're talking about, why cholesterol, the second cause of cholesterol. If you're just joining us, yes, those are good sources of fiber. Those are good sources of fiber. If you're just joining us, my name is Dr. Dieter. I'm a double board certified physician. I'm an internist, I'm a pediatrician, and it's my mission, it's my mission in my practice of medicine now to educate as many people that the modern day diseases that we face are due to our lifestyle and food choices. And you can reverse those modern day diseases by simple changing in your lifestyle and food choices. And today we're talking about high cholesterol, and we talked about the statistics of high cholesterol affects one in every 5 Americans has a high cholesterol, a value of 240 and above. Also, also, 1 in every 3 Americans has a borderline cholesterol of 200 to 239. And finally, 2 in every 5 Americans has a high LDL. And about 40 million Americans are on statins. And cholesterol fuels diseases like heart disease, like stroke, like peripheral artery disease, like kidney failure. And so it's very important to address the issue of cholesterol. And I'm teaching 2 things. I'm teaching, number one, I'm teaching 2 ways to reverse your cholesterol. We're talking about a lifestyle approach, and we're going to talk about a nutraceutical approach. And I mentioned that there are 2 things in our lifestyle that causing us to have a high cholesterol. Number one is that we're eating so much processed foods. And I just went through explaining why processed foods cause our cholesterol to be up. And just by removing those things from your diet, it's going to bring your cholesterol down. I want to talk about the second thing in the lifestyle why our cholesterol is up. Fiber. We are not consuming enough fiber, and fiber is so important in our cholesterol for 2 reasons. Number one, it decreases your glycemic index, it decreases your calorie intake so that you don't overwhelm your body with too much calories to cause de novo lipogenesis. The other thing is that fiber helps to sweep cholesterol out of the blood. And I'm going to flip over to the board to explain that. But before I do, there have been a few comments in the chat. Just want to make sure I acknowledge them. Erogio, thank you for your encouragement. Mercy, thank you for your gift. Erogio, thank you for your gift. Thank you. Thank you for your comment on love the preventive medicine. I appreciate that. White rice makes you sleepy for hours because it spikes your blood sugar, causes you to crash. When you eat white rice, there is a glucose surge in your body. That glucose spike causes an insulin spike. That insulin spike now tanks your blood sugar to be low and then now causes you to crash. Same thing as sugar. It does exactly the same thing. Resistance starch. I'm just trying to acknowledge. Okay. All right. Now, let me go and talk about how fiber, helps to sweep cholesterol out of our blood, and why is the second cause of the fact that we have high cholesterol. I explain it this way. Okay, just like I'll say this like this, just like flour is the main ingredient to make bread, cholesterol is the main ingredient to make bile. Okay, I'll write that down on the board. Flour is the main ingredient. I'll just write main ingredient to make bread. Okay? Cholesterol which is a type of fat, is the main ingredient to make bile. Bile is produced in the liver and stored in the gallbladder. Okay, so bile is produced in the liver and stored in the gallbladder. Produced in the liver but stored in the gallbladder. All right, so bile is important in the digestion of fatty foods. When we eat an animal fat or a food that is rich in fat, for the enzymes in the digestive tract to be able to digest that fat, for us to get calories and nutrients from it, we need bile. So bile is important in the digestion of fatty foods. So bile, to digest fatty foods. Okay, now, just as flour is the main ingredient to make bread, cholesterol is the main ingredient to make bile. Now, how does fiber come into all of this, you may be asking? When we eat foods that are rich in fiber, there are two types of fiber, by the way, soluble and insoluble fiber. When we eat foods that are rich in fiber, by the way, bile circulates in what we call the enterohepatic circulation. It means going between the colon and the liver. That's where bile circulates, enterohepatic circulation. When we eat foods that are rich in fiber, okay, what happens is that the fiber in our colon, fiber is food that doesn't get digested. It passes through the GI tract intact. So when we consume foods that are rich in fiber, that fiber goes and binds to bile. That fiber, there is a bind of the fiber to bile. So there is a bile fiber combination, and it now causes bile to be, that fiber, this is fiber, this is bile, this is bile, this is fiber. Fiber binds to bile, and that causes it to be excreted in the stool. So bile binds to fiber, and then it causes the loss of that into the stool, excreted. So what is excreted is the combination of the bile fiber. So that combination is now excreted in your stool, okay? So what that does then is, ooh, I am so sorry. Oh, let's go back. Okay, all right, I am so sorry about that. So let's take all of this all over again. I'm glad I looked. So I was saying, just like flour is the main ingredient to make bread, cholesterol is the main ingredient to make bile, okay? Just like flour, the main ingredient to make bread, cholesterol is the main ingredient to make bile. And bile is produced in the liver and stored in the gallbladder. And we need bile to digest fatty foods. So when we eat foods that are rich in fiber, how fiber plays into all of this? When we eat food that is rich in fiber, the fiber goes and binds to bile. Bile circulates in between the liver and the colon, what we call the enterohepatic circulation. So when we consume foods that are rich in fiber, that fiber goes and attaches to bile. So it's like this is bile, this is fiber. The fiber goes and attaches to bile, and then that bile fiber combination is excreted in your stool, okay? So bile, fiber attaches to bile in the enterohepatic circulation, you lose that in your stool. So that combination of the fiber and the bile and the fiber gets excreted in the stool. When that gets excreted in the stool, what it does is that it causes the amount of bile in the blood, in the body to drop. Bile concentration drops. So this down arrow is to say that bile concentration, because this whole entity, right here has been excreted in the stool. So you have lost bile. So this drops. The amount of bile that is available in the body drops. Okay? When that drops now, the brain, that is the master gland of the body, when the brain is doing its housekeeping to see what do I need and what have you, it realizes, oh, our bile stores are this low. And you know what? We need bile to be able to digest fatty foods. We have this level of bile, whereas we need this level of bile to be able to digest fatty foods. So what happens now is that the brain sends a text message to the liver. Hey guys, our bile stores are low here. We need this amount of bile. Can you make more bile? So that we can secure the digestion of fatty foods. So that text message goes to the liver from the brain. And remember what I said, that the main ingredients to make bile is cholesterol. Cholesterol is the main ingredient to make bile. So bile has dropped now. Brain has sent a text message to the liver where bile is made. Hey, I want you to make more bile because we have a lower level of bile. And since cholesterol is that main ingredient to make bile, the cholesterol that is in your blood, now when the liver receives that message, that text message from the brain, the liver pulls cholesterol out from the blood into the liver, because it's in the liver where bile is made. Pulls cholesterol out of the blood, pulls it out of the blood and shunts it to the liver. And in the liver, it uses that cholesterol to now make bile. When it uses that cholesterol to now make bile, the bile levels in the blood now go back up. They go from here to now going to here. It returns back to status quo. You now have enough bile to digest fatty foods. It's a check and balance in the body that the body has to be able to keep our cholesterol down, and it starts with fiber. Just make sure you guys are with me. So that is why fiber is a big reason why our cholesterols are high. We do not consume enough fiber, guys. It is recommended that if you're a man, you should consume, let's see where I can write that. If you're a man, they recommend that the amount of fiber you should consume should be at least 38 grams of fiber a day. Okay? 38 grams of fiber, at least 38 grams of fiber a day. If you're a woman, this is it's recommended that you consume at least 25 grams of fiber a day. In the United States, the NIH estimates that the average man and woman in the United States is consuming 10 to 12 grams of fiber a day. Guys, 10 to 12 grams of fiber a day. Why? Because our foods are so processed and we are not consuming enough fiber. 10 to 12 grams. Guys, our ancestors never had high cholesterol. Give you my favorite time machine to go back 100 years. You will see that our ancestors did not have high cholesterol. Do you know what it is estimated how much fiber our ancestors ate a day? It will blow your mind. 100 years ago or so, our ancestors ate about 80 to 90 grams of fiber a day. 80 to 90 grams of fiber a day. That's what our ancestors were eating, consuming, because their foods were not processed. They were eating very natural foods, rich in fiber. So this process was occurring all the time. All the time. Negative feedback mechanism was occurring all the time, to keep your cholesterol low. So when you pull cholesterol out of the blood to make bile, what I did not mention is that your cholesterol levels in your blood now drop, because cholesterol has been pulled out of the blood to make bile. This was happening all the time, in the bodies of our ancestors. All the time. And then the other thing, as I mentioned, when you eat fiber-rich foods, it's low in calories. It doesn't cause you to consume too much calories. That now triggers de novo lipogenesis that causes you to make too much cholesterol. So the second lifestyle change I will say is this: begin to consume foods that are rich in fiber. Make it a point to consume at least 30 to 40 grams of fiber a day. Somebody asked the question and I already answered it. What foods are rich in fiber? Go online, whether you're going to, let me go back. Go online, whether you're going to Google or ChatGTP or what have you. Go online. I could name you some foods that are rich in fiber here. So fiber-rich foods: broccoli, Brussels sprouts, berries, apples, nuts, oats, quinoa, brown rice, lentils, chia seeds, flax seeds, even popcorn. Those are some examples. A lot of vegetables are rich in fiber, carrot, all of that. But to get a more comprehensive list, to answer your question, Nisi, to get a more comprehensive list, Nisi, what I advise you to do is to go online to Google or to ChatGTP and say, hey, give me the foods that are rich in fiber. And it will give you those foods. Incorporate them in your diet as much as possible. Thank you, Nisi. Thank you. Incorporate them in your diet as much as possible. If you do, your cholesterol numbers will improve significantly. Nisi, thank you for the gift for the fan club. Your cholesterol numbers will go down. So we have talked about two things, two lifestyle ways in which you could bring your cholesterol down. Number one, we have spoken about remove from your diet all the processed foods. They jack up your calorie intake. They stimulate de novo lipogenesis. The livers are processed to make new fat, and cholesterol is a type of fat that jacks up your cholesterol. Number two, fiber. Eat foods that are rich in fiber. Incorporate them in your diet as much as possible, at least 30 to 40 grams a day. If you did that and ate foods that were rich in fiber, that positive feedback mechanism. Will popcorn be a processed food? If it doesn't have sugar, it's not a processed food, to be honest. Popcorn is very high in fiber. And when you pop it, I would say pop it in olive oil. Do not use, another thing that somebody mentioned was the oils that we use. Do not use the seed oils, the canola oil, the soy oil, all those things. Use olive oil, but popcorn is very rich in fiber. It surprised me when I found that out myself, but very rich in fiber. Just don't pop it with sugar. Don't use sugar on it. Use salt, but popcorn is very good. So that is the lifestyle. Yeah, butter or ghee is okay. You're totally correct, Amma. You could use a real butter or ghee is okay. Not vegetable, not margarine, or the vegetable butter, butter or ghee. Good. So those are the two things that you can do as lifestyle. So I'm going to put that on the board. I'm going to So we have spoken about the lifestyle approach. If you did those things and your doctor has told you that your cholesterol is high, when you go back to check your cholesterol months from now or next year, if you commit to doing that, it will shock your doctor when he sees your cholesterol on your next lab draw. It will shock him, or him or her, whoever it is. So we have talked about the lifestyle approach. We've talked about the lifestyle approach, and we talked about two things there. Number one, we said processed foods, eliminate processed foods from your diet. And number two, we said include fiber in your diet. Okay? Now, that's a lifestyle. Somebody said on the chat that, their lives are just so busy, they're not able to eliminate processed foods. I get it. So I teach another option, the nutraceutical approach, which can help you to be able to do the same thing. Okay? So if you commit to one of these things, you will get your cholesterol down. So if you're listening to the lifestyle and you love it and you think that that's something that you can do, I encourage you to commit to it. If you commit to that, your cholesterol is gonna plummet. If you want your cholesterol to plummet or nosedive, drop a comment, nosedive. The lifestyle change is gonna cause your cholesterol to nosedive or to plummet. And I want your cholesterol to nosedive. But I get it. Let me flip over. I understand that life is hectic, okay? Life is hectic, and some of us are not able to do the lifestyle changes. We'll probably not be able to eliminate the processed foods or to include fiber in our diet and what have you, or go and look at the list of all fiber foods and now incorporate all of that and every day. I get it. Modernization has made life more complex, more hectic. We have so much more on our plates that it's hard to be able to consistently do that. So I understand that. And for that reason, I teach another approach, what we call a nutraceutical approach, where if you were to do this, it will cause your cholesterol to go down just like the lifestyle approach, okay? Now, the nutraceutical approach I teach are two products called Unimate and Balance. These two products. Let's see, I'm going to flip my screen just for 1 second so that to mirror that. So did I do it? Okay, Unimate is the first product, and the second is Balance. Okay, Unimate and Balance. I'm gonna talk about these two things. Let me go ahead and these are what we call the nutraceuticals that I'll be talking to you guys about. Okay, nutraceuticals. They're going to help you for those of you whose lives are too hectic to be able to do this. These two things are going to help you to be able to reverse your cholesterol. What's a nutraceutical? A nutraceutical is a product that is made 100% from a plant. Okay, a nutraceutical is made 100% from a plant, and it has nutritional benefits, but more than nutritional benefits, it has huge health benefits. So nutraceutical means that it has kind of therapeutic health benefits, that outweigh the nutritional benefits. So that's what a nutraceutical is, and it's 100% plant-based. 100% plant-based. Now, I'll talk to you about these two nutraceuticals, and they do exactly that, and I'll show you guys at the end my cholesterol, what this did to my cholesterol, so that it's an option for those whose lives are too hectic to be able to do that. I'm going to flip over. Now, I'm going to start with the very first one. This very first one is called balance. What balance is? Balance is just fiber. So a very smart health company asked the question, why is it that our ancestors never had high cholesterol and we do? And they proceeded to do research and answered that question, that one of the reasons was because they were consuming a lot of fiber. And so this health company asked the question, what if we could take go get fiber from a plant, and process that fiber and just put it in a simple sachet for people to take every day who have a hectic life, who cannot consume natural foods and eliminate the processed foods from their diet, or who cannot consume fiber. And so based on that idea, came up with this simple product, which is made up of fiber taken from about 5 different plants that has been put into this sachet as a nutraceutical. And just taking this fiber goes and does the same thing to your in your body that fiber foods do, to bring down your cholesterol, just by taking this. Okay, and this also causes your blood sugar spikes not to be high. Fiber causes you to feel full. When you feel full, it causes you not to eat too much calories. So what I do is I take this 5 to 10 minutes before I eat. When I take this 5 to 10 minutes before I eat, it goes and makes me feel full. I don't consume too much calories. And then it goes and loads my colon with fiber. And then that fiber now sweeps bile out of, that fiber now causes my bile levels to go down, decreasing my bile levels. My liver is now forced to pull out cholesterol from the blood, to be able to replete my bile levels. So I take this, once before, I take this before my meal. Every day I take this. That's the way I get my fiber. I've heard of balance, but isn't that also processed? No, it's not. Why? When we talk about processed foods, right? So this is made from a plant. So when you say that a food is processed, they are taking out ingredients from the food, right? Taking out natural ingredients from the food that cause the food to have an unstable health, an unstable shelf life, and then they are adding other things into it that they should not add. This is made on natural things that they should not add. This is coming, they've just taken the plant, the fiber from the plant, and broken it down and put it into this. So this a nutraceutical doesn't count as a processed food. So the second thing in this is, is this tea called the yerba mate. Somebody was saying it. What's the name? Is balance, and I could show you how to get it. The second thing is this tea called the yerba mate. This tea is made from a plant that is native to South America, Brazil, Colombia, Argentina. This tea works together with this to reinforce the fiber. They kind of work together in conjunction to try to beef each other up. So taking this and this, both of them together work to drive down your cholesterol. And so I want to show you guys a picture of my cholesterol, what it did to my cholesterol. I told you guys that my cholesterol was 261. I was able to drop my cholesterol down just using this. So I want to show you that, so that could be an option for those of you who have very hectic lives, and are not able to have a fight. So that was, let's start with this. So this was my total cholesterol in March of this year, okay? March of this year, this was my total cholesterol. It was 261. And I did nothing but to take this. Just these two things. Nothing but to take these two things for 3 months. And after 3 months, I'm a doctor, my life is hectic. I was not eating healthy and what have you. After learning about these nutraceutical products, and by the way, these nutraceutical products, you may be interested to know that it is listed in the physician's desk reference. If you went to the PDR, the physician's desk reference, which is the online encyclopedia that doctors use to prescribe stuff, yes, it's part of the Feel Great system. It is. If you typed in Unimate, typed in balance, you're going to see it in the physician's desk reference. My cholesterol went down from 261 to 197 in 3 months just by using this. 3 months. That was my total cholesterol. So it dropped by 64 points. This was my LDL, my bad cholesterol. My bad cholesterol dropped by 69 points from 207 to 138. Just in a space of 3 months, just using that. So I give that to you guys as it is science. It sounds like a miracle, but it's not a miracle. If you understand the science of what is going on, the science of fiber and the science of, polyphenols. So this tea, this yerba mate tea is made from polyphenols. Polyphenols, are special phytonutrients that help to bring down your cholesterol too. Our ancestors consumed a lot of fiber, consumed a lot of polyphenols. This company was smart enough, to be able to say, can we replicate the foods that our ancestors had? So that's it, just as simple as that. So I will end by saying these two things. What I will say is this. Commit to something. If you were to commit to the lifestyle change, you are going to lower your cholesterol. If you were to commit to the lifestyle change, it's going to cause you to decrease your cholesterol. If you were to commit to the nutraceutical approach, it's equally going to cause you to decrease your cholesterol. So there are two things. You have to commit to something. If you committed to, where is my marker? Commit. If you commit to the lifestyle approach, your cholesterol is going to take a nosedive. If you commit to the nutraceutical approach, your cholesterol is going to take a nosedive. So I end by saying, don't live this life without committing to one thing. You've listened to me and maybe the lifestyle approach gels with you and you plan to commit to the lifestyle approach. If you plan to commit to the lifestyle approach, comment lifestyle in the chat. Commit to something right there, okay? Some of you, you're listening and your life is too hectic. The lifestyle approach, you may not be able to do it consistently, and it might make more sense for you to commit to the nutraceutical approach. If you plan to commit to the nutraceutical approach, comment nutraceutical. Now, then there's some of you who are maybe as crazy as me, want to do a combination of both. You want to do the combo. And there's nothing wrong in doing the combo of good, okay? The combo of health. Nothing wrong in doing that. So there's some of you who may want to do the lifestyle approach and want to do the nutraceutical approach, the combo. If that's you, comment combo. There's nothing wrong in as good of a health as you can. I now do both approaches. I now do the lifestyle and the nutraceutical to keep my cholesterol. Just commit to something. 2 ways to reverse your cholesterol: lifestyle and the nutraceutical. I will end by saying this. If you are interested in getting the nutraceutical, does exercise help? Yes, exercise helps to bring your cholesterol down, but not as much as lifestyle. Not as much as lifestyle. What brings your cholesterol down hugely is this lifestyle approaches, not as much as lifestyle. So if you're listening to me today and you're interested in trying the lifestyle approach, commit to the lifestyle. You're interested in trying the nutraceutical, commit to the nutraceutical. It helps, but it's not as much. Okay, not as much. If you're interested in both, you can do both. Now I'm going to put information on the screen. You now may be asking, how do I get it? I've listened to you, Doc. How do I get it? Yes, exercise will never hurt you. It can bring down your cholesterol down by a little bit, but it's not that much. It's a little dent. The big thing that brings down your cholesterol is, avoiding processed foods and eating fiber. So if you're interested in trying the nutraceutical or the combo, this is how you should order. You go ahead, and I'm going to put in information on how to order right here. So what you do right there, this is how you order. If you're interested in ordering, just text Reclaim Your Health to this number. That's Dr. Dieter. That's my number. You text Reclaim Your Health to the number on the screen. And when you do that, I'm going to send you a link on how to order that. You can go directly to the company and order that. And if you do that, you will have a discount, to get this nutraceutical, at a reasonable price, $80 discount. So please take a picture of that. That's how to order. You can text in the USA. That's my number in the USA. If you're not able to text in the USA with my number, send me you're somewhere else in the world, send me a direct message on TikTok and I can help you figure that out. But how to order, text Reclaim Your Health to that number below. That's my number, Dr. Dieter, and then I'll send you information on how to get it. So thank you guys very much for joining my live, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next live. Thank you.